Good afternoon. I'm Chief Kevin Anderson, and today I'm going to give you a tour of the Shrewsbury Police Station. I'm going to go over the facility and show you some of the operational challenges that the department faces on a daily basis. We're inside the Shrewsbury Police Station in the lobby. This building was built in 1971. In 1996, there was a renovation completed. It was meant to last 10 to 12 years. And as you can see, the lobby is very, very small, and it's only 4 seats. One of the challenges we have is we have people coming in here for reports, to file reports. We have sex offenders coming in here to register. We also have people coming in here to get their license to carry permit. And it's also a place where we release prisoners. So it's not really functional for having all those people interact and entering and leaving the station. This is the officer's mailroom / workstation. Currently we have 2 workstations for approximately 34 patrol officers. As you can see, the area is very small, and it's difficult to work when there's people coming and getting mail and going over the back of your shoulder. This is the roll call / training / lunchroom, and also there's an additional workstation. That's the second workstation for 34 patrol officers within the department. International Chiefs of Police standards is when you have a training facility that they have 40 seats. As you can see, we have 8. Again, this is a training facility. This is where roll call is conducted, and also there's an officer workstation. The roll call, when it's conducted, often you'll have officers standing, and you also have officers standing during training. The other challenge we face here with this roll call room is, as you all know, we have a pandemic, COVID-19 right now, and in order for officers to properly social distance, we have to have roll call in the garage, which can be an issue during the winter, being very cold, and during the summer, being very warm. One of the pillars of 21st century policing is training and education for police officers. This room makes it very challenging to provide training, de-escalation training, to provide education for our officers. It only fits 8 officers. It makes it very difficult to train members of the department. Currently, we have to go off-site, and we use St. Anne's, which is a church, and it's a rec room that we use to do our defensive tactics training, our de-escalation training, and also our handcuffing techniques and things like that. And this is our training room, and we can't utilize it for that function. This is the sergeant's office. We have 7 sergeants that share this room. It has 2 workstations, and for storage, all they have are these file cabinets right here. Ideally, it'd be best if each sergeant had their own workstation designated just for them. We're in the mail locker room here in the department. Currently, we have 34 lockers for 50 male officers, and also we have 1 bathroom facility for 50 male officers. This is the female locker room. We have 6 lockers for 1 female officer. That can become a challenge as our department becomes more diverse and we have more female officers. It'd be difficult to have an area for them all to be. This right here is originally, this was our lounge. This is where we heat up our food, where we store our food. And originally that shelf was there with stools, and that's where officers would eat their food and have their lunch. Over the years, we've had to use it for storage, to accommodate a toaster oven, a microwave, and various supplies. This is our dispatch center. When the renovations were completed in 1996, we added an additional console. And over the years, and as the calls for service increase, we're going to need additional 911 call takers, preferably 5, with a supervisor's position as well. This here was originally a closet. This is where we keep all our radios, our breathalyzers, and our spare batteries for the officers. This is our detective bureau. Currently we have 5 detectives. They're all stationed right here in the middle of the room. The challenge is when a detective's speaking to a particular witness, they may be having a hard time speaking with them over other detectives, maybe on the phone, or maybe conducting work at their own desk. This was originally a closet where we stored supplies. This has been converted. Originally it was a secretary's office and a traffic officer's office. Currently we don't have a traffic officer, and this has been converted into the operations division commander's office. This room here was originally the Detective Bureau's interview room. It also has a two-way mirror that the supervisor could monitor while the suspect or witness was being interviewed. That room has been converted into a storage room due to all our requirements of keeping cases longer, and we have to store records longer. This is also, we had to put in here several desks. One's a school resource officer, the court officer, and this is a officer that works during the day shift, works on administrative duties. Also, these filing cabinets had to be placed in here. And as you can see, a lot of the room is actually used for storage and administrative functions rather than being it solely an interview room for detectives. This room here in the Detective Bureau is an area where detectives can store their food. It has a sink that's be used for cleaning dishes, but also originally it was used for, this room was used as a processing room. And all along the left here where these filing cabinets are and storages, there were a fuming tank, there were tables and supplies in order for detectives to process evidence that they got from a crime scene and remove fingerprints off of. That now has been relocated to the attic space next to the Detective Bureau. Again, this is another detective's desk. As you can see, it's got no windows, it's poor lighting, and it's very cramped space. This here is where the fuming tank had to be moved. It's in the back there, and that's where detectives process evidence they get from crime scenes. What's happened over the years, it's also become a storage area due to the caseload and the cases that we save for record retention. Again, this is another room for the Detective Bureau. This is where we keep all the files and fingerprints. These were originally placed at a different part of the building, but they had to be put over the attic due to space issues. The only issue with this is those really should be contained in an area that's fireproof. And as you can see, this is all wood in here, and if, God forbid, we had a fire here, that would destroy all these records. This is the communications room. This is where all communications for the entire building goes through. If this was to go down, we'd have no 911, we'd have no phone systems. The issue in here is we have ventilation issues. We've put this air conditioner in a few years back, but it still doesn't provide the proper ventilation that's needed for this type of room. This is our Sally Port. This is where we bring prisoners in and take them to court. As you can see, it's very small. In fact, at one point, a truck was pulling in to clean out one of the cells, and it hit the top of the garage door. Also, this garage, it's currently too small for an ambulance to be able to pull in. That creates a security issue when we have to bring a prisoner that has to go to the hospital. We have to bring them outside, put them in the ambulance, where you could have a possibility of them escaping. The officers, every time when they go on their shift, they test their taser. They test it here, and these two areas should be separate. They should not be tested where the Sally Port is, where prisoners are coming in and out. Not really a safety issue because we make sure nobody's in here, but it would be much better suited if that was in a different location within the building. But currently we just don't have the space. Also during the winter, it gets crowded in here because we put a snow blower and a 4-wheel drive plow that we have. During snowstorms, we put eight cruisers or police vehicles in here, and this gets really, really tight. As you can see, we also had to put picnic tables out here, and that's so officers can have lunch, because the lunchroom, which is also a roll call room and a training room, is often being used. So that makes it a challenge for the officers in the winter. It's very cold out here, and in the summer it can be very warm. This is our booking room. Currently we have 2 workstations. Ideally, these 2 workstations would be separated in order for the prisoners to be separated while they're going through the booking process. Also, there really shouldn't be windows in here. This can be very dangerous. Although we have plexiglass on here, if a prisoner did become violent, it's potential that the prisoner or an officer could get hurt with this glass here. There's also a window on that side as well. There's also a lot of sharp edges that are of concern. And again, we only have a seat really for one person going through the booking process. The issue with this area right here is we bring prisoners through this door. They go into that booking room that way, and then when the booking is completed, they have to go down a hallway that's being used by civilians, by staff, by administrative assistants, in order to go down to the locked up facility. We have an issue here with the back door. So the lockup facility is also in an area that's close to the back door, as well as where people come in and throughout the building. All right, we're in the cell area of the police station. There are some deficiency issues here. When you're inside the cell here, the ceilings really should be 10 feet tall. Also, there's a lot of sharp objects in here that could be potential, of the prisoner getting injured. Also, the first 24 hours of anybody being in a cell is most critical. That's when majority of suicides occur or attempted suicides occur. So it's really important that the cells be close to the booking area. So if there is necessary for an officer to monitor a detainee one-on-one, it's in a better location. As you can see, I'm not even 6 feet tall, and I can touch these items. You really would like those up higher, so detainees don't have the capability of taking them down or damaging them. Ideally, we'd like to have our own area, facility to wash the prisoners' blankets. Currently, we have to take them to the Worcester County Sheriff's Department. And if we had a facility where we could wash those, that would be better for the function of this cell block area. Also, ideally, this area, there'd be sight and sound separated each cell. Currently, how it works is the person in this cell can talk to the person across the way in that cell, and they may be actually co-defendants, or they may have been involved in the crime together. This door right here, I'm not going to open it. There's only one person that has the key to this, and that's the department armorer. In there we store rifles, any ammunition for training. And as you can see, it's basically a closet underneath some stairs. So it's very small and cramped in there. We're going to be going up the stairs. It's a storage facility as well as the evidence room. How it works right now is the officer will conduct the booking, and they may have to take evidence, and it's just too long through the building. You have to go through multiple hallways, you have to go up these stairs, and that's where the temporary evidence storage is, and I'm going to show you that. Originally, when this building was renovated in 1996, this was going to be the gym for fitness for the department. Right when we moved in, we needed to use it for storage. As you can see, these filing cabinets contain all employee records, records that we have to retain for up to 27 years at some point. And this is also our temporary locker, evidence lockers. That's where, like I was saying earlier, the officer that does the booking has to come through the entire station, go up to the second floor, and has to temporarily store the evidence here, in these evidence lockers. This is the armor section of the department. Again, ideally this would be on a first floor, not in an attic space. This is where the department armorer works on firearms, cleans them, maintains them, and works on them. As you can see, it's kind of a small space, doesn't have good ventilation, and the insulation is starting to come out throughout the entire portion of this building. Behind here, this is where all our old accident reports and old incident reports are maintained. Again, we have to keep them there for so many years. It depends on what the case is, so we keep them in there. It's also an area where we have to store old equipment or equipment that we use on a once or twice a year basis. This is the department's closet that's used for supplies, cleaning supplies, and things to clean the building. This is our evidence intake officers area, and also that's our evidence room. As you can see, again, very cramped space in here. This is an attic, so in the summer there are days you can't come in here. It's just too hot, and in the winter there's days you just can't come in because it's just too cold. It does have some air conditioning and heating, but it doesn't work on very cold or hot days. This evidence area back here, again, very small, cramped for what we need. In 2012, they changed the evidence retention procedures. We had to keep things for guns, firearms, high-end items, and money. We have to keep them behind a locked door and then a secondary locked door. I don't know if you can just look right in here real quick. You can see that that's basically just a closet. And those are all the firearms we have to maintain. In here, we store evidence based on the size of the evidence. So we have a really good system for it. It's just that we have to keep evidence much longer now. So it ends up being we need much larger space. This is our animal control office. As you see, this was originally a closet for the Detective Bureau. It has no windows, poor ventilation. This is the department's clerk's office. Currently, we don't have access for the public to go directly to the clerk's office. They have to be, dispatch has to let them in to come get public records requests. Also, we'll be hiring an additional clerk, and we only have 4 state workstations right here, and we'll have to locate that clerk outside of this office. This is where we park our fleet. We have 26 total. We have 17 marked, 8 unmarked, an animal control. We have a boat trailer. We also have a boat. And as you can see, we don't have anything to cover the vehicles. So in the winter, oftentimes the police officers have to clear off their cruisers in order to go to a call. Also, we're sharing a parking area with the general public. Not that that's anything bad about that, it's just that sometimes we'll be releasing prisoners who may be getting picked up and they may be parked, who's picking them up may be parked right next to one of the police officers' personal vehicles. Also, the issue here is we don't have anywhere to store vehicles that we take in as evidence. Oftentimes we're storing them in the garage, which is also right next to where the officers have their lunch. And also we have to put them in the sally port on occasion, and that needs to be used for prisoner transport. Ideally, you would have one space designated specifically for evidence. Part of this project is also upgrading the radio system. The system in town we're looking to upgrade to would be a digital trunked P25 public safety compliance system. This system would address several safety concerns and coverage issues we face with the current system. We're looking to move to replacement of all radio infrastructure, which are radios, wiring, controllers, combining all town departments onto one system. Currently, we each have our own system. The addition of separate channels for each department, addition of several new channels for police department and fire department operation at incidents, securing channels for detectives that they can use exclusively, secure operational channels for use when required, moving to a more organized frequency band with less chances for interference. Currently, we have certain parts of town that just we can't hear the officers. We can't hear them when they're using their radio, and they can't hear the station. It becomes a public safety issue. Also, we're going to combine the entire town to one main radio infrastructure. Example, DPW, water, Selco, fire department, police department will all be on one system. We're going to add several safety improvements for all town employees, and it's going to be easier interoperability with surrounding towns. This will lead to better, faster response to emergencies and better coordination of our public safety responders, and would assist overall public safety for the town. I want to thank you for joining me on this video tour of the police station today. I hope this gives you a better understanding of the operational challenges that we face in the current facility.